siatkówka jest chyba najbardziej zespołowym z zespołowych zespołów.
Szósty set.
Hello everyone, this is podcast Szósty set, and today before the final in Antalya between Jastrzębski Węgiel and Itas Trentino, or Trentino Volley, we have a chance to speak with two fantastic persons. So Bruno Dare, which is the chairman and president of Trentino, and Re Di Cristina, which is the general manager, director of the club. So hello, gentlemen. Very nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you, Kuba.
So we thought, in front of the final, we thought to speak with you, as you are the club who is one of the three clubs who in the last 4 years is always in the CEF Champions League final, which is Jastrzębski Węgiel, Grupa Złoty Zaksa Kędzierzyn-Koźle, and Trentino. So since Polish fans already know both the clubs from Poland, we wanted to give them, an update on how you do things in Trentino so successfully that you are again in the final. So as a first question, maybe I will ask to speak a little bit about the history of the club, because of course people in Poland remember from the history, Cisle Treviso, they know Modena, but for the last 20 years, the most successful club in Italy is actually Trentino. So how did you make it happen?
But first of all, I know very well Treviso because I work a lot of time in Treviso, in Cisle for 23 years. And in Modena from 5 years. Trentino Volley is a small city in the north of Italy, and we are on the market of the volleyball since the 2000, so it's 24, 25 years. In this period, we won a lot of Italian championship, and we won some international competition, World Champions Cup, for example, and some Champions League. This year we are playing the third final in the last 4 years. It's a very, very big moment, very important moment, and we know that it's very, very difficult because also we are not in a good situation. We have some player injured, and we are arriving from a difficult period in the Italian Championship. But Sunday we will play volleyball.
Exactly. So in terms of the history, we all remember Trentino from the 2008, 2012 with the Polish guy, of course, Lukas Żygadło, but with Juan Torena, Kaziski, Stok, Rafael playing this volleyball, which was very different from now because there were a lot of big guys. Winiarski, of course, a legend, and now the coach of Zawiercie, of course. But the volleyball was much different than now. Big guys on the wings. How did it in the past? How did it happen that you were able to collect such a good players? Was it, the biggest budget at that time in Italy, or actually, your nose and good transfers on the market?
No, we have a good budget for sure now and in the past, but the history of Trento is not done only by money, but by budget. I think that the history and the background of this club are in competition to do and to consent to the team to arrive at good level. Not only budget, because in Italy and in the world, in the Europe, there are other clubs, many other clubs with budget higher than the budget of Trentino Volley.
And let me also add to what my president said is also how much there was the investment from Mr. Dare and the company in the youth and also in the young players. You should consider that the youth teams in Italy are in our region, in Trentino, are very strong. We support that also with not a youth academy, but we do a kind of camp also for the summer, and we select the players. So that's why also in the last years we switched from big names to different ones also, which were born also raised in the team since they were young.
So coming back to the region, because this is a region which is very good in volleyball, but how is it that in Italy almost all the clubs except maybe Taranto or Saturnia are from the north? Is it because of the fact that players from the north are closer to volleyball and are taller because of, genes? Or is it that, in the southern Italy, the clubs don't have so many budget and they are only focused on calcio?
No, probably the second one. The south of Italy, is a political and social situation a little bit different from the north. The volleyball is developing more on the north, but first of all, for problem of organization of the clubs and for money for the budget of the clubs.
Yeah, and to reinforce also Bruno's comment, in our team we have Lavia and Laurenzano, Cavuto. They are all coming from the south.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Russo is also from the south. I think the one from Perugia also. But okay, so when we come to the players, in 2021, when you played in Verona against Zaxa, the team was very different. So there was, of course, Gianelli, who was raised, I think, by Trentino for many, many years. But there was Nimir, Lucarelli, Coy. So more strangers, less Italian players. And then after that, you sold Nimir, and then you decided to build a team around Micheletto, who's obviously, raised by you. So bringing Lavia, Laurenzano, and Bertoli with the Italian around all of the top teams, was because of the budget, or you thought that it's very good to have Italian-grown players because they are more connected to the club. It's easier to keep them for a longer period of time.
In the 2021, we changed completely the governance of our team. The president of the 2000 team was Diego Mosna, and then they was out, and we changed a lot. And we have changed not only the governance of the team, but also the team. We was not in condition to spend a lot of money, so we reduced our budget, and we built a new team, a new governance, a new company. Completely a new company, and not only the company but also the team. So we have changed a lot of players, and we start with the young like Lavias, Bertoli, Laurenzano, or Micheletto. Was a decision that we took in the 2021 because we changed completely the governance of our club.
And now it looks like that in many moments after the seasons, the important people from your team, like Gianelli or later coach Lorenzetti, are bought by Perugia. Do they have much bigger budget than you, Sirci and Perugia?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't know exactly the amount, but we are sure that the budget is completely different.
So if I'm correct to understand that probably Piacenza, Lube, and Perugia have bigger budget than you, and despite that, you are still the most successful within the Champions League, and also you won Scudetto last year?
For sure, they have budget different, completely different from our budget, but we have history, we have a good background, and we are in condition to do a good job. The last year we won the championship. This year no, but to win is not the only goals that we have in our life, because we want to remain at the top of this championship and to be serious, to pay and to be serious with the players, with the other person of our clubs. And first of all, we want to remain on the top of this championship for a long time. So we have to respect our economic and financial possibility.
In terms of the region, I believe that players like that come from abroad, like Kozamernik or Kamil Rychlicki, do they love Trento like a city because obviously close to the mountains, close to Bolzano? Is it also one of the elements that brings players to your team?
Yes, yes. You should consider that in any case, Of course, that's more personal, but I guess, yes, they like the city. Trento is always in the top five of the best cities in terms of quality of lives. I think it's very famous also for Polish from Poland. They are coming to enjoy winter and summer, especially in the mountains. As I mentioned before, for instance, where we run our big camp in the summer is in Monte Bondone, and is very famous for Polish that are enjoying in the winter. So it's a nice city. The quality of life is good, and it's balanced between lifestyle and quietness, because people are really quiet here. And you have to consider that also there is a lot of events. We make here in Trento the sport festival, which is run by the most famous newspaper, which is Gazzetta dello Sport. It's made here. Also the economics, so the Festival of Economics is made in Italy. In Trento, the Festival of the Mountains is here. So it's a nice town, and the quality of life is probably a good balance for the players. So yes, I think Kamil and Kozamernik, they should probably like Trento.
In terms of how the club is run, of course, we have the Polish perspective, where many clubs are owned by the country-owned companies like Jastrzębie, where there is a big coal mining company which supports it. When you come to play with Polish teams in terms of organization, do you see a big difference of how the club is organized, how the staff is functioning in terms of media, marketing, and other things?
We think very high of how Poland run their team, and also the infrastructure. We have been told they are very good, so we have no doubts it's run perfectly. But like my president mentioned before, the government's changed in 2021. So now our companies run more like, I would say, an industry. It's made of 14 different partners. So it's not just one single ownership, like you mentioned, for instance, when you talk about Perugia, you mentioned Circi. Here is more a share, different shares from different companies, and this is giving more stability. Of course, the budget is probably not at the level the other teams can afford, but it's certainly, I would say, financially sustainable, and this is more the way we run. So the government has changed. We have Mr. Dare, that is the president, and then we have the organization, which is probably run like a Polish team. So we have our responsible for the press, the marketing team, the sales, but we are trying always to have the last line of the balance sheet, which is green. Do you agree, Bruno? Mm-hmm.
So in terms of also, the finances and how the club is run, you start to make transfers like in football. I would say extension of players, because we learned about 2 months ago that you managed to keep Micheletto for, I think, 4 more years or 3 more years, for sure Bertoli for the same, and Lavia for 2 more years. Is it difficult to keep the players which are obviously also world champions, Euro champions, the guys who are, the basis of the Fefe de Giorgi's team?
I leave this answer to my president.
No, now we have decided in 2021 to change completely the governance and the team. Now we have this young player, but this player was probably young. Now they are the number one in Italy and number one in the world. They have a long activity with the national team. This is not only for Italy, but all the world. Now they start in May, immediately after these finals, and we have back the players not before end of August, beginning of September. So they stay a long period with the national team. But we are very, very happy to have these structures of our clubs, of our teams with the Italian players. The difficulty is to maintain. The costs are very, very high. In Italy, the currency is very, very, very high, and it's difficult to maintain these kind of players. because the other opponents like Perugia, like Piacenza, and not only in Italy but in some Polish teams, a Russian team, Turkish team, the Japan clubs and Korean clubs, China, they are paying a lot of money, and it's very difficult to maintain and to continue the agreement with this kind of players.
Daniele, was the change in Decreto Criscita, the tax law that brought players for football reasons in the past. Do you think that this may change how foreign players, decide to come to Italy, or it's not?
No. It's not the same size of football yet.
No.
Of course, like Bruno, so the president mentioned, it's always very difficult to retain talents because they are called by a lot of countries, but it's not the law for which is giving tax credits to players, which makes the difference, like in the soccer. In the soccer, probably you need to add a few more zeros.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I have to ask, Polish fans will ask, was it close to have Norbert Huber in Trentino last year?
No, we was. I don't remember the last year or 2 years ago. I don't remember the period. Probably not this summer, but the other one. We was close to Huber. In my opinion, we are close to Huber. I don't know in the opinion of Huber if we are close to them, but we was very interested to him.
Of course, I understand. Obviously, the Polish players in Poland have the good passport for Polish teams.
Two summer ago, probably.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
2 summers ago.
So you look for young talents not only in Italy but also abroad. This is why you brought Valder. This is why you bring the guy from Romania. Sorry, I forgot his last name. If this is, of course, I don't know if this is confirmed, but you look for players also abroad. Do you have a scouting team, or is it you, Mr. Bruno, or you, Mr. Daniele, that looks for him, or it's just a part of the coaching staff, or you have typical scouts?
We are a strong team, a strong club, very important, and so we don't a scouting activity to find this kind of players. With the manager of the players, and we have a lot of videos because that with volley metrics or other situation we can have a lot, and we can see a lot of videos, and we can see a lot of championship in the world. So we arrive at this player without an activity of scouting, but is also to specify that we have only 3 foreign players in our team, no more.
3.
So because now we are looking on the Italian market, because we prefer to maintain a good situation with the Italian players.
You brought Magarini.
Some foreign players for sure. We have Bata from Romania. We have Kozamernik. Rikichkili is Italian now, and so really we have
2 basically.
2.
Now. Yes.
2 foreign, and we have another middle blocker from foreign middle blocker. So we have 3 foreign players for the next season. But because we prefer to maintain the starting 6 and the second one with the Italian players.
So you brought last summer Acquarone from lower league. You brought from Verona, right, Magalini. So it's you and the coaching staff who observe also Serie A2 or Serie A3 to see the young
coaching staff. The coaching staff with the manager, with me and with Riccardo Micheletto, the sport manager. But we build the teams together with the first coach.
When Riccardo Speltori broke his finger, I also broke a finger this year, but he broke the finger in Berlin. No, it was in Trento, but with the match against Berlin. Did you have nightmares because you knew that this would be a very difficult situation, or how did you handle it? Because we were thinking, in Poland, maybe we would bring somebody from Japan or from China as a setter, but you decided to have faith in Alessandro Acquarone.
but was difficult because we Sbertoli had the injury the 29th of February.
February, yes.
And 3 days after the market was stopped in Italy. We have now the possibility to have other players, to change our players. At the last minute, we have the young Garcia, the young French player, but he's a good player, good guy, but he's absolutely a normal player. Was very, very important for us during the training section because it was impossible to remain with only one. And the setter of our second division is not in condition to maintain the level. And so we was not in condition to change. Also, if we had money, we haven't money, but also if we have it, was absolutely impossible to have another good player. We have played 12 matches with Acquarone, the second setter, but we are arriving in the half final of the Italian Championship, and we was really very, very tired. Very, very tired.
Yes, that I could see that.
And now we are very tired. And after the problems of Sbertoli we had, when we have Sbertoli again in the court, we lose La Via.
Yeah, so that was a very difficult situation.
It was not an amazing period for sure.
No, I'm sure because in the last years in volleyball, Zaksa or most of the teams, let's be honest, mostly have a very strong first team, and the guys who are in the second team are a little bit on the lower level. And I also said to myself, there was no team who won in the last year's Polish League or Scudetto or Champions League having out two important players. That had to be a very difficult situation for you. But in terms of going to Antalya, how do you organize it in terms of transfer and also in terms of the funds?
Yes, in terms of transfer, we organized a charter together with Vero Volley because they will play the final of the females, so we will go the same way. So we organized that way. In terms of funds, we have a few on the charters and probably some which will go their own. But of course, the destination is too far for all the funds and expensive to reach.
The same for
I wouldn't
Poland.
expect a huge support this time.
Yeah, but we had 50, 60
person.
Yeah,
I think that the same will be for Conegliano and Vero Volley.
And the same for Jastrzębie.
The fans of Monza are on our flight.
Yes, so we are all together. So
they are 60, including the staff and team. So they are 30, 40 person.
In the past, I think
from Poland.
You mentioned it's the same.
The same. They didn't organize anything. Just take some funds on the charter with the club, and that's all. They will be watching in the city, like the same like you, right? Because you will be watching the game in the arena, right?
Yes.
Just two final questions in terms of that. So I think we can all agree that in the past the best place was Ljubljana because it was close to Trento, it was close to Poland, so a lot of fans could go.
Yes. Yeah. Of course, it was not good for us for the final result, but it was a good location. You agree, Bruno?
Yeah, I agree.
Just one.
Anyway, Cuba. You are also welcome to visit us in Trento when you want to run a podcast from Italy, okay?
Sure, I was this year in Modena because me and my wife, we often go to Bologna for our anniversary. So I was in Modena and I spoke to staff. So next year we will go to Trento and Bolzano to meet you. That will be fantastic.
Not a long way from Modena to Trento. 1 hour.
Yeah, but we will, we will go to Bergamo and then to Trento. Last question about Soli, because obviously you had for many years Lorenzetti, who also was introducing the young Italian players to the team, and then he decided to go with Circi in Perugia. So why Soli? I mean, was because of his work with the young Italian players in the past?
Because he's young, he's a new name, and we want to to think to the future of these clubs, and we use the same mind that we had for the players. We like Italian players, we like the Italian coach, and he is young, and we are sure that we can do together a good job, not only for the present but also for the future.
Do you think, last question, do you think, because I think Polish league became strong, very strong, because they only can have 3 foreign players on the court, so they have to have 4 Polish players. And since we have good generation of, Śliwka, Fornal, and so on, it brings success and, 2 cups, CEF and Challenge Cup so far. Would you, as a club, like the same solution in Italy, so that you have to have 4 players on the pitch, not 3, because like Piacenza or Perugia or Lube, they have 2 middle blockers from Italy and libero, but all the guys from the outside are not from Italy, while in your case it's totally different. So for you, would it be a good solution if Italian league would also change the limit of stranieri?
No, in my opinion, this is a good situation. And like president of the club, I think that was time to play with all foreign players, because we spent money and we have to decide how to play. We have no financial from the government, we have no financial from the institution, we have no money from the political situation for the government, we have no money from the federation. The cost of our clubs is more than 6 million euros. Now, the last year we had also the women team, and so we arrived to spend more than 7 million euros, and we have to collect this money from sponsor, from ticketing, and from our owner. And so I am sure that we have to decide how to play. And now for the Italian volleyball, for the business and for the volleyball, for the quality of the volleyball, it's time to play with all foreign players.
Okay.
It's very, very difficult, and it's impossible, because probably the federation and the Italian Olympic Committee, they don't want.
Refuse, of course.
They refuse for sure. But we have to think that the clubs are private clubs. We pay, and we have to decide
what we want,
our history and what we want to do.
Okay, so good luck on Sunday.
But for this moment, we are in good situation.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you very much for the interview. Grazie mille.
Grazie,
Bocca di lupo a domenica. So thank you very much. Esatto. Thank you very much for the interview. Our guests for the podcast Szósty Set were Bruno Dare, president of Trentino Volley, and Daniele Di Cristina, general manager.